Hey guys, this is Hell Hades and this is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So this video is going to be a full guide on Apothecary. I've been asked quite a bit about her builds, her abilities, where she's good. Before we get into that today, I just want to talk you through an app that I use. It's called Bluestacks. I've been an affiliate to Bluestacks for the last month or so. There's always been the description down in my videos. It's been there the whole time, and a few people have kind of gone to it. I've been asked a lot of questions about it, so I thought I'd just give you a view on what it is, what it can do quickly, and then clearly if you want to use it, great. If you click in through my affiliate link, I get a small benefit, which helps my channel. But even if you don't, I just want to show you what you can do with it and why it might be helpful. So what I've done is I've set up my kind of main screen here, Bluestacks, just by logging in as normal. What you can do is you can download on your PC or laptop a instance of Raid. It's basically a mobile app that you can download mobile games on. So I was able to download Teppen, I was able to download Raid, and you can play your mobile games through your PC. So that's nothing new. What's really cool about Bluestacks is you're actually able to open up different instances of the same game. So there's a little option here on the three ticks, and you can go into multiple instance manager. So this is really helpful for me because I am able to then log into somebody else's account when I do my account takeovers without having to completely come out of my own account, which means I can actually do some work on my own account when I'm doing takeovers on other people's as well. So you can kind of go in here, you can just open up a new instance on this button, and what it does, it gives you a new box like this. So I've got one I've just opened up down here to show you how it actually works. So what you do is you go into this screen here. It's very much like you would see on a mobile. You're looking for apps. Raid does come up as one of the top games, and you just go install like you would again on your app. So you would log in through your Google Play, so you can log into multiple email accounts. What I've got here actually, while this is downloading, I've got my Minnow accounts, which are literally free to play. I was loading them up before I was doing YouTube, and I've kind of not really played them since. Let's do a couple of shard pulls. You see this one's really quick. So we've got multiple instances of the game coming up. It's rolling really quick. No new legendary on that account. That account's probably going in the bin. What you'll find is when you start off on this app, let's get that going as well. When you start off on this app, it's pretty sluggish, but you can just go into your options like you would within the actual game. You can put the FPS up. You can put you can tweak the graphics options, and it will speed the game up. There's also, I'll just quickly show you this as well in case you're interested. There's a little dial here on any of the instances. You can go into this dial. One of the things you definitely will want to do is you go into engine and change the performance here to multiple cores. So I put it on 4 cores, and you can go into increased frame rate. What I'll do is I'll show you it as I go into this one because this is a brand new instance that I've just loaded up. So if you see here, if I go into settings, go into engine, it starts with 1 core and it'll be a really sluggish performance. So I go 4 cores, whack the frame rate up, restart the instance, and then it will load it up. And this is going to be my main account that's loading up through here. So as I say, you can kind of be playing in the background. What I tend to do when I'm grinding up other accounts is I put gear on to farm, not to farm, to level, because leveling gear takes bloody ages when you're doing an account takeover. So I've got something leveling up to 16. In the meantime, I'm farming a bit of dragons or something on my main account. Let's just load this, try this shard for luck as well for the video. Any legendaries coming out? No. That would have been kind of clutch. Never mind. So yeah, obviously we'll do this full screen. So what I want to do now is get into the guide. But Bluestacks, I would definitely recommend it if you want to get your referral program stuff done. So what you can do is you can almost get a referral link, sign up to a second account, and you can have multiple versions of the game running at the same time to get your referral links done and get yourself those shards that you want to complete your referral stuff. So right, I'm just gonna log into this. So that is me back into my main account. Let's go for an Apothecary guide. Apothecary is probably the most sought after rare in the game, and there's good reason for it. She's probably one of the best rares, if not the best rare. certainly in some instances of the game, she is legendary status, I would say. So let's look at her skills first. Skill 1 is useful. So firstly, it's a 4-hit A1. There's not many 4-hit A1s in the game. There's only a handful of legendaries that have got 4-hit A1s. So that is pretty amazing. When you think every time an A1 lands, there's a chance to hit with your Giant Slayer proc. On something like Fire Knights, you need to hit as many hits as you can to get through his shield. So this is a great ability in itself. The only thing which kind of redeems itself in terms of it is a rare champion is that the hits are random. So you can't, 4 hits at random. So on something like spiders, you can't kind of target nuke the spider. You'll hit the first hit on the main spider, and then the other 3 are likely to go on the little spiderlings. So that's a little, and that's the way it should be. You shouldn't have the full control of it because she's a rare. She also puts on the big version of heal reduction once you've ascended her. So that is, again, quite a nice ability for an A1. And that has got a 25% chance of landing, which books up to 35. So pretty good A1. A2 is also pretty good. So attacks all enemies. It can hit hard. 30% chance, goes up to 35, of placing decreased accuracy for 1 turn. And places a poison if they're under heal reduction. So if you land your A1 and then go into your A2, there's a good chance you're going to get poison off. The poison element is kind of hit and miss, really. You do get a few of these poisons on clan boss if you're using her quite early on, but otherwise it's not really why she's there. But it's a good hard hit in A2. And then this is what she is known for. So the Heartseeker. The Heartseeker is an insanely good ability. It's just like, it gives you clutch moments. It gives you the ability to control a fight. It hits so freaking hard. It's mental. So it attacks one enemy, fully depletes the turn meter. It's not like chance to deplete, whatever. It fully depletes the turn meter if you've got enough accuracy. This does require accuracy. And then it's got an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. What that's saying is you only need to get your crit rate up to 70%, and then this will always crit because you get an extra 30. That's really important. So you don't need 100% crit rate on her. You can get to 70, which means you can put your damage elsewhere. And then the damage increases according to enemy max health. So this really came into its own when we got through to the level 17 to 20 dungeon. And the way they scaled up the enemies was to massively scale up their health and their defense. So as the health scaled up, so too did this ability and how hard it can hit. It says here it's based on max HP and attack, so Coldheart's attack. I would completely forget about attack. The attack element of this is so small compared to the enemy max HP that it basically makes no difference. And that's why I wanted to show you how I've geared her, because you'll see when I go into this, I have not put attack on my Coldheart and she hits like a freaking freight train. She hits really freaking hard. So let's get into our masteries. There's a couple of things you could do here. Now, we still want to get some accuracy, and I think the support tree is definitely the best tree for her in terms of the secondary tree. So I've gone support. I've actually gone into this ability here that she gets a chance to heal to try and keep her going in some of the fights I put her into. I've gone into this ability that she gets extra turn meter when a debuff she does falls off. She does a fair amount of debuffing in her kit, and I want her to get a turn back quicker. This is really important on her. Evil Eye. Because of the places that you use her, this ability, bearing in mind her A1 is single target, although it hits 4 times, it's single target. So you get a 20% reduction of turn meter the first time you hit somebody with your A1. In Spider, this is massive. In Wave Clear, this is massive. And in Fire Knights, this is massive. And then I've just put this on her. It's not amazing, but it just gives her a chance to extend any debuff she does put on. So if you're extending your heal reduction on the Fire Knight for an extra turn, that's really helpful. This is a tree that she's all about. So she's all about damage. So we go crit rate into crit damage, into do more damage when you're attacking with full HP. Come down this alley, And then I want her to have this ability that as she kills things, she does more damage. I've then gone into additional speed when enemies are killed, chance to get back her random skill. This is massively important on her. So every time she does a Heartseeker, she activates it. So she does more than 30% of the target's max HP if you've got it geared properly. And she has then got the chance to cool it down an extra turn. So what you want is you want that Heartseeker back as soon as you can. I've then gone down into Flawless Execution, which gives me 20% crit damage. This is, you've kind of got two options really. You can either go into Helm Smasher, which has a chance to ignore defense. If that activates, it gives you more damage than this does, but it's only a 50% chance that it's going to work. So it's up to you whether you want to take that risk. What that means is you're risking that you're either going to kill stuff quicker or you risk losing the fight potentially. So that's a Masteries. If I check my other one, I think I pretty much got the same. I made some slight variations, and you can. So this is quite a nice ability to have. First time you hit somebody, you hit for an extra 8%. So you see what I've done here is I've kind of flicked back over to the right. Otherwise it's pretty similar, so I didn't do these two. And on the support tree I've done pretty similar, but I've got her chance to land her abilities up a bit higher. So two different ones. Because I use them both at the same time, they give me different options. But that is that. She's actually not too bad in terms of booking, considering she's a rare anyway, so rare books are much easier to come by. But compared to a lot, she's 12 books to max out, and this is the one you definitely want to max out because you want this reduced cooldown on her Heartseeker. So if I go into gearing, let's remember we only need to get to 70% crit rate, and there's two things which are really important in her build. So first thing that's really important in her build is that you have enough accuracy for her Heartseeker to reduce turn meter. You'll see here I've got two different builds. One is under 200, one is way over 200. In fact, the sweet spot's probably somewhere around 220. I've just changed a banner because I gave it to somebody else for, maybe gave it to Kale. But the sweet spot's about 220. That way you should reduce the spider's turn meter at level 20 dungeons. But it's really important to make sure you don't skimp on the accuracy, because that, if you don't reduce a turn meter, all it is a hard hit, and a hard hit without that control is nowhere near as an effective ability. So that's the first thing. Second thing is you need to get a crit rate up to 70%. You see here I've gone a bit above on both of them, but I don't need to. I've gone above what I need to have. And then the third thing is you need to get as much crit damage as you can get out of your gear. Now, I'm sure everyone's going to say, oh, you got silly crit, you got silly gear. Yes, I have. I've got silly gear, but that just means I do stuff quicker. But your aim is still to get as much crit damage as you can. Look at my attack numbers: 1165, 1176. If I show you how that's actually built up. So from my arena tier, I've got 350 odd of that. From my Great Hall, I've got 138 of that. So that's already close to 500. And then I've got another 700 that comes from my artifacts. Now, of that 700, close to 200 is just coming from my weapon flat stat that I absolutely can't do anything about. The rest of it will come just because somewhere in here I've got some substats which give me attack. It's probably in the yeah, it will be, yeah. It's in the jewelry. 18% here, but I'm not looking for that. 5% here, and I've got flat stat on the ring, which I don't necessarily need. But look at my other Coldheart, who's built better. She's got defense on the ring, crit damage, accuracy. So most of the attack is not coming from me trying to put things like attack chests on her, attack boots, anything like that. I want crit rate, I want crit damage, I want her to be fast enough to be relevant. After that, I just want her to live. It's really important. People just build champs to be as hard hitting as they can because they think that's the way to go, and then that champion spends half the fight on the floor dead, and they're a waste of space. So if you look here at the way I've built her, I've gone HP chest. Her base defense is very low, so putting a defense based chest on her, defense percentage chest, is not the way to go. You want to go HP chest, and then ideally you want to go crit damage in the jewelry, defense in the ring, accuracy in the banner. That's the ideal setup. Ideally as well, you want to find a build where you can get crit damage as your main stat gloves, and then all of the other crit rate and crit damage comes in the rest of your items you've got. That's the ideal, and I know that not everyone can do it with the gear they've got. If you can't do it with the gear you've got, then you do a crit rate set of gloves and you find as much crit damage elsewhere as you can. But what I've done is I've found gear that's got crit rate on it to get me up to that kind of over the 70%. I've done exactly the same thing with this one. Crit damage gloves, and then we've got crit rate elsewhere in the build to get myself back up to that 70%. Even if it means an offset. Look, I've got boots here which aren't part of the set. I've got a weapon here that's not part of the set. I don't care. I don't even need this accuracy set here. I could take this accuracy set off and put anything in here if it was better for crit rate and crit damage. And if you look at this one, again, offset. I don't need the sets. Some sets are helpful if you want to get crit rate up or if you want to get crit damage up, but you don't need them. So let's get into rating her. So for me, very early level clan boss, so easy, normal. She's actually not bad. She puts in some damage. She's got the ability to do a poison. But as soon as you get past that, she drops right off. Maybe she's a free. She drops off after that. She's not relevant enough. Fire Knights, she is absolutely top tier, providing you can keep her alive. Spiders, she is probably a 6. If there was a 6, she's top tier. Spirit Keep, she is able to put the... I'm trying to remember if that's the right one. Yeah, so she's able to put the heal reduction on. She's top tier. Arena off. Anything arena, she is useless for. She's terrible for arena. Dragon's Lair, she is strong. She can't drop turn meter on the dragon. The dragon's turn meter cannot be dropped. So because of that, I'm going to give her a 4, but she still hits hard. Minotaur, she's top tier. Arena, and again, anything arena, she's useless. Campaign, she's pretty useless. She's definitely not going to be a campaign farmer. She's not going to be a support to a campaign farmer. She's not worth taking in. Ice Golems, I don't really rate her in Ice Golems. She can help you earlier levels with the waves and stuff, but the trouble is, if you do a Heartseeker on the main boss, he's probably going to do a retribution hit and annihilate your team, because he swings back with almost like a reflect damage. So I would be careful using her when you get past sort of level 14. Magic Keep, I say she's middle of the road average. Void Keep, similar sort of thing, she's decent. And Force Keep, she doesn't bring any decreased defense, decrease weakens, that sort of thing, which you really need in the Force Keep, but she will do some damage, so she's kind of middle of the road again. But all in all, really great champion. So let's get into some content. I think I'm going to start with the Fire Knights. So I've got 2 Coldhearts in my regular Fire Knight team. So you see what I've got here is I've got speed lead, I've got somebody that decreases defense and attack, someone that speeds us up. Let's take her out and put in good old Apothecary. What you're looking for in Fire Knights is people with multi-hit A1s, and you're looking for people that can keep you going fast, debuff, and nuke. So we've got red affinity. So red actually hurts my Apothecary a bit, but he is still one of my sort of fastest champs in this. I've got both Coldhearts in. Sometimes my runs can be really quick. Depends on really what sort of rotation I get on the Coldhearts Heartseekers. And that's the most annoying thing about Fire Knights, is sometimes you can get your Heartseekers just landing on the shield. Other times you get them landing at perfect time and it's like a really amazing run. But you see here, we deal with the waves pretty well. Fushan's really good in this dungeon because he deals with the waves, he puts decreased defense on, and he puts quite a few stuns up. So we're not really taking any hits. Because my Apothecary is negative affinity, he takes the damage, my Coldhearts do not take the damage. You see here, so they're going for the Apothecary. He is built quite tanky and fast, so I don't really mind them taking him on. And we're just kind of slowly whittling through the wave. I say slowly, actually, for level 20 stuff, to get through the waves in a minute, it's not bad with this sort of team. I know they're top tier rares, but we've still got 3 rares doing level 20 dungeon stuff. So I think that's pretty decent. Obviously a couple of legendaries to back them up. But even the legendaries, they're not top tier legendaries, but they're just good for finites, I think. We get into the boss, and this is where we hope that the Heartseekers land at the right sort of time. I want everyone to do their A1 to start with, which we've done. You see the A1s from the Heartseekers there just reduce a bit of turn meter for me. Perfect timing on the Heartseeker. So we get turn meter down to start with. We've got the decreased speed on from my Tomb Lord. Poisons are now landing. Heal reductions on from the Heartseeker, from the Cold Hearts as well, which means that if he does get a turn, he is not going to heal. And at this stage, I doubt he's going to even get a turn, which probably means we're going to get about a 2-minute run. Look at that, 1 minute 54. See you later. We'll have a bit of stun gear for our bellowers, and we move on. So very good setup for Fire Knights. 2 of them to dream. 1 of them is equally good to have. Let's show you how they do in a Minnow run. So Minnow, got my rare team going on here. Let's take out these 2. Looks good. Yeah, looks good. So good thing about the Minnows, they just do so much damage to the Minotaur. So you can just do really quick runs. So you know, well geared, but we've got a team of rares, and they're just going to absolutely shred through this dungeon. It's the only trouble with it. They use Heartseekers at such stupid times. It's quite annoying. What I tend to do here is I actually get them to focus the boss, because I've got quite a bit of AoE damage anyway. So I don't want them to focus on the ads, because the ads are going to die naturally through AoE stuff. And if there's any Heartseekers, what I don't want is the Heartseekers landing on the ads. But you see here, we're going to be under a minute easily. Loads of damage coming in. And they just do work. They just do work. Look at that hit, 200k. And that is a Minotaur. This keep's not really best for her. This keep would be better, where she'd get a heal reduction off. Let's go into the spiders. I've done a few spider videos, so I'm sure people have probably seen her in action in certain teams. So for this, I'm just going to show you a slightly different one than what I did the other day. So I've got a tanky Scartorsis. He's got the ability to cleanse. I'll just show you his gear quickly. She's in the vault. Where is he? Where is he? He's at the top. Yeah. So he's in provoke gear. I want him to. He's going to attract the spiderlings anyway, actually, but I want him to take as much flak off of the Cold Hearts as possible. He's heavy tank, good HP. He's got good accuracy. He's there to speed up the team. He's there to keep himself alive and to just lay some damage. It's high resistance, so he's not going to get poisoned. Apothecary's there for a healer and speed. We've got decreased defense in the Tyrell and turn meter control in all 3 of these. So let's get into this. Having 2 Cold Hearts is really helpful for spiders. It just really helps you with the sort of turn meter stuff. We get a good amount of AoE going on. See, we're not taking poisons on the Scartorsis. So he's just done an A1. We've got heals coming in from the Apothecary. Decent damage from the Cold Hearts. We just need to survive now long enough to get the second wave of the Cold Hearts back. And all the time we're kind of doing a bit of AoE damage as well. Should get a heal now from my Apothecary. Just keep him going. And we're just waiting. Probably, I think maybe 1 more turn until we get the rotation back. So we've got the first eat up, that's fine. My Scartorsis is in okay shape. He's done a cleanse, give himself a bit of healing. Also boost turn meter here. And all we're waiting on is the Heartseekers to come back. We've got enough turn meter control, that's fine. We just don't want the Scartorsis to die. 2 Heartseekers, see you later, 1 minute and 5. And that is a different version of Spider. I don't think I showed that the other day, but it's kind of a version of the same thing that I've done really. But negative affinity tank, but not in the counterattack style, a defensive style. But plenty of speed in the team, plenty of turn meter control, and 2 nukers. So that is the Cold Hearts in the Spider. There's tons of things you could do with Cold Hearts in Spider. I showed the AoE HP burn, which is one of the best methods to kill the spider. One Coldheart in that team is excellent. So that is Coldheart and Spider. We showed her in Fine Arts, showed her in Spider, let's show her in Dragons. The Dragons team. So could she fit this team? I think that she probably can somehow. Maybe we get rid of a Bellower. Let's try it. I've not tried this comp before. Sometimes I just throw stuff in and see what happens. I think it can work. She's got enough AoE damage to sort of help the team out. We've still got enough control, I think, with the rest of the guys. Don't forget I've got somebody in the team that can resurrect, so that's okay. And we've got enough healing as well going on, so I think we're okay. Now, when we get to the main boss, Coldheart doesn't reduce turn meter, but she does do a shed load of damage if you've got decreased defense on. So she's still really effective. Hardest part with this kind of rares team is getting through these waves, not down in the boss. But even doing Heartseekers on people like Tyrell in these waves is really helpful. Dropping his turn meter, doing the damage. We're kind of waiting for this ability from War Maiden, so stuns going off is good. And I'd imagine this Coldheart's probably going to be the lion's share of the damage when we get to the final part of this fight, when I look at all of the champions combined. So we just could do with taking one more out, really. There we go. Apothecary's down, that's useful. Back comes Kale. Reliquary Tender's insane as a rare. This is like a team of like legendary style rares, I'd say. It's probably 5 of my favourite rares all in the same place. So we've got the decreased defense on, which means that when the big hit comes in, it's going to be massive. And we're just laying on the poison so that we get through this purple stuff through the Kale. But this feels like it's probably going to be quite a quick run. So look at the Coldheart, 500k. How's your health pool? It's not looking very good. And obviously you could try and load 2 Coldhearts into this. I don't like it. I prefer to have more of a balanced team for Dragon. It's much harder to get through the waves if you go too offense heavy. I'd much rather have this kind of balance of healing, support and damage. This is the most critical part. Heartseeker comes in, 700k hit, 2 minutes and 5, which is pretty decent for a rare team. Alright, there's 2 voids in there, but it's still a rare team. So that is Dragons. Anything else? We've got Ice Golems still to do. Ice Golems is not, as I said, where she is at her best. We'll still try and show something. So I think she just fits into this team. Where does she fit? Maybe she replaces Devala. Let's try it. Don't even know if this is going to work again. It might be too much to hope for. I don't know if I've got enough damage. First wave's always fine. What you'll find is on auto, your champions use all their best abilities in that first wave, and you're thinking, oh, I'm flying through. And then you get to wave 2, and all of their cooldowns are spent, and you've got the next few hits just trying to stay alive. So it's actually not a bad thing to have a kind of wave control that slows you down a little bit to get your abilities back. So I'm hoping I got a Tyrell decreased defense off the bat here, which I haven't. Shame. So just going to try and nuke them down. This is the scary time. Coldheart's going to kill herself in a second, or nearly. Everyone's struggling. Don't die, Coldheart. This is your time. We've got 1 revive. He's dead again. This is a scary moment. I think we're going to get through this part. Yeah, we should get through this. And then obviously the boss fight is kind of like rinse and repeat time. So the hardest part of the boss fight is actually the very beginning, when you don't have the control of turn meter. So we want decreased defense to come on everybody to give us a chance. Not got it back yet. So this is the dangerous part. See all this damage coming into us. They'll get a hit here. She's quite tanky though. She's got decent HP, so she can take a hit. She's got heal reduction on her for 3 turns though, so I need this cleanse. I think she's used it quite recently. So that could be a problem for us. got it there, but she's got it back on her again. That is just I meant to say I'm going to run through to the end because it's going to be a long fight, and I cut off before I said it. But we finished it 6 minutes 18. It's not fast. Coldheart actually did a good chunk of the damage. Taylor was the hero of the moment, but she's okay at ice golems. I just don't think she is that amazing. So that is that. I think I could show you Clan Boss. Should I show you Clan Boss? I guess I can. I'll show you Clan Boss on Brutal. I think I've actually got a couple of keys in the old bank. So Clan Boss, she is really good early game. Easy, normal, hard. She's fantastic. When you get to Brutal, maybe I'll just show you actually a Brutal run, but with my kind of lower team. So let's get rid of all these great champs. Let's put in the old Apothecary, Coldheart, Kale type of champs. I'll leave a counter attacker in there, or shall I? No, I'll take him out. So probably everyone will say, "Oh, why did you leave him in?" We'll put Hypertune in. We'll put Kale in. So what we got here? We've got speed. We've got more speed. We've got. So normally, what you do here, if you're putting them in this sort of setup, you would have them with masteries like Giant Slayer. I don't have them like that at the moment. That's not the way they're geared, but that's what you would do with all of these champions. And we can put her in for. Do we need her? No, I think we need more poison in this setup. So I think we go with. Maybe throw in Juliana. Seeing as she doesn't get a lot of airtime with me. So 2 poisoners, 2 lots of speed, 1 healer. None of these guys are in lifesteal gear, which probably means I'm not going to last that long actually. So maybe we do this instead. So he gives me some healing at least. Let's get into this. So we're just going to see the sort of damage that the Coldheart does versus the 2 poisoners at brutal level. So with this type of setup where you don't have your counter attacker, you're aiming to just go as fast as you can. And ideally, if you want someone like a Coldheart to really shine, you should have someone in your team that's doing decreased defense. It'll make her Heartseeker hit a lot harder. I should have put someone in with that actually. But you see here, I'll wait till she does a Heartseeker again. I think it's coming up, not this turn, but the next. I'll slow it down when she does it and we'll see what sort of damage she does. Slow it down here. But it's not, because there's a cap on damage for the clan boss. That's not this one. The Heartseekers don't do anywhere near the sort of damage you would expect them to. And that's what lets her down. Here, so what we're doing, 178. That's without decreased defense, but it's pretty weak if you consider it compared to what she does against Spider. This same build, she's doing basically 1.8 million against a Spider. 178 against Clan Boss is nothing really to write home about. Our main damage will actually come from her doing A1s and getting Giant Slayer procs if you've got the Mastery set up for Clan Boss. So this is not her time to shine unless you're very early game and you're just looking for someone with a hit. Poisons are worth more damage than what she does. So I would say unless you're short on options and perhaps still in the very early levels of Clan Boss, she's probably not going to be for you. Definitely after Brutal, I'd say she's just not relevant in Clan Boss. So look, I'm going to skip to the end so that we don't have a 10-minute fight here, and then you can see the damage. Okay, so we're at the end. What we've done, 10 million damage. So Coldheart did 2.5 million of that, same sort of level as Steel Skull actually. It's interesting. Kale was the lion's share of the damage, but yeah, we had kind of no real sustain there, but kind of shows you her damage is not obscene. The main thing I wanted to show you there was the Heartseeker does not do the sort of damage you would expect it to for Clan Boss when you get to any level above normal. So I think that is going to be everything for Coldheart. She is a fantastic champion. She's well worth the investment in books, and if you get her early, she can really help you carry some of the sort of dungeon content. So that's been my guide on Coldheart. This is Hell Hades signing out.